Good morning, children. It's Monday morning. I hope you all had a very nice weekend, considering what's happening at the moment. Today it's a grammar lesson, and we're going to be looking at fronted adverbials. So again, something that we've covered before in class. We're still continuing with the King of the Fishes story. So let's get started. So the writer of this story uses fronted adverbials to tell the reader where, when, or how something is happening. And two examples I've picked out for you, children. Immediately, Lee hurried home, wondering what on earth he should wish for. So immediately is the fronted adverbial, and it's obviously been used by the writer to show that Lee done it instantly. He done it straight away. Now, the writer has used this for a reason. He's not just plucked it out of thin air. He's chosen immediately to show that Lee was in a hurry to get home, possibly because he couldn't wait to tell his family what had happened, and he wanted to share what had happened with them and possibly discuss what he was going to use his wishes on. This is something that he does do when he gets home. He shares straight away and asks his family what they would like or what they would wish for. And then the second example I've picked out is suddenly he stopped pacing and grinned. Now, suddenly, of course, is a fronted adverbial, and it's got the comma there for the punctuation. Suddenly doesn't quite mean instantly. It's more, yes, it's happening quickly, but it's happening unexpectedly as well. So it happens to Lee and he's not expecting it to happen. And he's been pacing for a long time, and the sudden thing that happened is he's got his thought comes to him. He suddenly realizes that actually he doesn't need to make one wish. He can make 3 in 1, which is the clever thing he does in the end. So the idea comes to him suddenly, unexpectedly. So that's just a little introduction to the fronted adverbials. They come at the start of the sentence, obviously. So what I've done is found some fronted adverbials for you to sort. Now, they are similar in meaning to suddenly, which is what we've looked at already. Now, or some of them could be slowly. Okay, so they're sort of synonyms for suddenly and slowly. And what I'd like you to do first, children, just as a quick task, is pause the video and then get yourself a pen or a pencil and use a piece of paper. And I want you to sort the words underneath under suddenly or slowly. So you've got leisurely, steadily, straight away, all at once, bit by bit, as quick as a flash, and gradually. So you've got 7 fronted adverbials there, and I want you to sort them under suddenly or slowly. If you're not sure, just leave it out, because I will be sharing the answers on the next page. So if you pause it now, you can have a go at that. Okay, children, hopefully you paused the video and you've sorted the 7 fronted adverbials under either suddenly or slowly. We're now going to have a look at how you should have sorted them. So underneath suddenly, we've got all at once, which is very, very similar to the word suddenly. It's all happening at once. It's all happening sudden and unexpectedly. As quick as a flash, obviously, it's as quick as a flash of light, which is definitely fast. And straight away, which is again similar to immediately, which is what we've already looked at. And then under slowly, we've got leisurely, which is when you're doing something relaxed, you're not hurrying. So you might take a leisurely stroll, which is what I've been doing most days whilst we've been able to get out and get our exercise done. We were as quick as a flash yesterday when the rain started, but usually take a leisurely stroll. Steadily always reminds me of the tortoise in The Tortoise of the Hare. Slow and steady wins the race. So steadily, taking it slow, not rushing, which is just the same as leisurely. Bit by bit always makes me think of somebody that's working, as does gradually. Yeah, it's a slow process. It's happening slowly. They'll get there in the end, but they're not in any rush. So if something's been done bit by bit, or something's been done gradually, which is like me with my back garden at the moment. Actually, I'm gradually doing what I want in there, but it's taking some time, obviously, because I keep getting distracted with my children who want to help, but more often than not, it turns into a game of football. So, we've looked at suddenly and slowly. Now, what I would like you to do, your task today, is to look at those 7 fronted adverbials. And I want you to choose 5 of them and write some sentences. Now, the sentences do not have to be about King of the Fishes. They can be about any subject that you want. I just want you getting these fronted adverbials correct. Make sure that you put a comma in. Okay? So it needs to have a comma. You'll find the comma on your keyboard by the at. Oh, no, sorry. You'll find the comma on the... I'm confused now myself, and I've just done it. Oh, no, that's the apostrophe. So it's just above the space bar, and then to the right. It's to the right of the M. That's where the comma is. It's next to the M. So what I want you to do is write 5 sentences with fronted adverbials and choose 5 of them, not all 7. Obviously, if you really want to do all 7, I'll be very happy about that. And then as a challenge, I'd like you to try and drop in some of those relative clauses that we spoke about the other day. Now, let's see if you are up to the challenge. I am going to do some examples for you. So I'm going to choose, let's have a look. I'm going to have a go at all at once. Let's try all at once. So, all at once. All at once. The only thing I can think about is Jack and the Beanstalk at the moment, because I've been reading it with Neve. So, all at once, the giant burst out of the castle doors. So it's happening quite quickly. All at once, the giant burst out of the castle doors. Now, I wanted to include a relative clause. I can't really use that because the giant is a person, so I'm going to use who. I suppose I could use that, but the giant's well known in the story, so I'm going to use who. All at once, the giant who had been sleeping, Jack had obviously taken something. Let's say took the goose that laid the golden eggs, and the giant was asleep. But all at once, the giant who had been sleeping burst out of the castle doors. Burst out through the castle doors. Burst out through the castle doors. You could extend that sentence then and say, and roared, "Come back here, Jack." So it could easily be extended, but I'm happy with that. There's the fronted adverbial I've used. All at once, and I've added in a relative clause using who, which is the challenge, of course, but I don't think it would harm you to try the challenge today. It doesn't need the relative clause. All at once, the giant burst out through the castle doors, and it just gives the reader a little bit more information. All at once, the giant who had been sleeping burst out through the castle doors. I could have even written, typed, I should say, really. The giant who had realised his goose was missing burst out through the castle doors. Okay, there we go. It doesn't like realised because it's American spelling. It wants me to use a Z, but I'm not doing it. So there's my one example. I will do one more example for you, children. Let's have a look. I'll look at slowly. Oh, do you know what? I keep looking at steadily because of the tortoise I mentioned earlier on. So steadily. My fronted adverbial with a comma. Remember, it's next to the M key. Steadily, tortoise. Steadily, tortoise ambled. No, plodded along the path as the hare. Steadily, the tortoise plodded along the path as the hare raced on. Got a subordinate conjunction here with the as the hare raced on ahead. Could have ended the sentence there. Now I'm going to try and drop in a relative clause. I could put one on here and say something about the hare, who, or I could put one in here about the tortoise. Let's go for the hare, because the hare in the story is very arrogant, very boastful, loves himself, keeps boasting about how he's going to win. So the tortoise plodded along the path as the hare, who had not stopped boasting, raced on ahead. Let's read that, make sure it makes sense. Steadily, the tortoise plodded along the path as the hare, who had not stopped boasting. Let's put some commas there, because that, when I read it, that is where I have a pause. Steadily, the tortoise plodded along the path as the hare, who had not stopped boasting, raced on ahead. There's my fronted adverbial. And there's the relative clause that I have decided to drop in. Okay. Best of luck, children. I look forward to reading your sentences. Take care, all of you, and look after each other.